Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be discussing every book that I read in 2024. And I read 43 books this year, which is insane because this is the first year that I've read. Like, this is the first time in my entire life that I've ever actually really loved reading. There was a small period there, like as a kid, where I would like read like Magic Tree House books and stuff like that, but it was never like something that was like a hobby of mine, and now it's taken over pretty much my whole life. So it's crazy. And I actually didn't even start reading until March of 2024, so I didn't even read full 2024. I'm gonna show you guys my bookshelf currently because me showing you all these books is pretty much gonna destroy it. So I'm gonna show you guys now what it looks like, and then we will talk about all the books that I read. Okay, so this is my book shelving situation. My room does have these built in, which is literally perfect. On this side it's like all dedicated to books, and on this side it's kind of more like trinkets and decor and stuff. So that's literally like my favorite part of my room. All of these haven't read. These are the books that I've read that we will pretty much be discussing in this video. These are all of them. So let's talk about them. So I am going to be going in order of authors because that's how I organize them on my bookshelf, and I'm trying not to cause as much of a headache as possible for me. So I'm trying to keep it as put together so that I can literally put this back on the bookshelf and it won't be too much of a mess. But yes, that is why I'm going to be doing this by author, not just because. So first we're going to be starting off with my favorite author of 2024, but also just in general. Like, I don't think that there's going to be an author who tops her, honestly. I really don't think so. So if there is, I'll let y'all know, and that will really be surprising. But Miss Abby Jimenez took over my life. She is my favorite author I've ever read. I've read every single one of her books. I literally can't explain how much I love her. So I think it's pretty easy. I'm going to be obviously showing you every single book that I read, so that we can keep count and everything with each other. But I will also be saying if I recommend to read them or if I don't recommend to read them. So it'll be like a yes, no, maybe. And I'll kind of explain if it's a maybe, because there's a couple maybes. I think though we can tell with Abby though what the answers are going to be. These are not in the order that I read them. This is not the order that I read any of them. I'm just picking up and showing you guys what I read them, and I will also be telling you what I ranked them. So number one is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is a 5-star read for me, and I would recommend this book for you 1000%. Number two is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Yes, of course, I recommend it, and it is also a 5-star. Number three is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Yes, I recommend it. Actually, we're just gonna make it very simple for me, okay? Yes, I recommend all of Abby's books, and they are all 5 stars to me. I have a TikTok where I rank them, and it's like ranking my children. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I did do it. So if you guys wanna watch that, it is on my TikTok. But all of these 5 stars, and I all recommend. So number 3 is Part of Your World. Number 4 is Life's Too Short. Number 5 is The Happy Ever After playlist. And number 6 is The Friend Zone. Number 7 is Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one I rated a 4 stars, and I'm going to say maybe. It was a very good book. Don't get me wrong. It's a 4 stars, so it's a very good ranking. But I just feel like this is taking you on the path of the female main character making 2 different decisions on the same day and then seeing how her life folds out. And it's kind of saying like no matter what decisions you make, those are the ones that are meant for you in that lifetime. And obviously, like, that tagline alone, completely agree. Great messaging. But I just feel like in this book, like, they made it seem like she's with her soulmate. She ends up with 2 different guys in the different storyline. So I'm like, was he really her soulmate then? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because another tagline in this with a different couple in the book is like, in every lifetime I will pick you, and da-da-da. And I'm like, but like the main one is like, you get me? Like, there was just something about it. So I just feel like it wasn't, like, I wish in the end it was either the same thing and they ended up like in the same, because that's what I thought was gonna happen, or I wish it was like she made a decision and then you like got to know what her reality was, you know, like something along that lines. This reminded me of a movie on Netflix, and I can't think of the name of the movie right now. It's with Lily Reinhart, the girl from Riverdale. I'll put it up right here. It's very much that. Like, it's not, I don't think that movie is based off of this book, but it's literally basically that. So if you don't want to read this and you kind of want to see the same idea, it's literally that movie. Number 8 is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bottom Young. This book was so good. I rated this, I believe, a 4.75. There was no complaints, but I just feel like a 5-star, there's a 5-star feeling for it, you know, like you feel it in your heart, like that was the one, you know. But I would recommend it. It was very good. It did have some disability representation in here. They both have different disabilities, so it was really, really cute. And yeah, I do recommend to read it. Number 8 is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This book, I recommend it. It is a yes, but I'm also gonna say maybe. It's like a yes capitalized, but maybe also, because this book broke my heart. I literally read it in 2 days, and I don't think I've cried that much in a really, really long time. And like my eyes were puffy after reading this. I rated it a 5-star. It was a beautiful, beautiful book, but like, just know it's gonna rip something out of you. Like, it was crazy. Number 10 is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Do I recommend this book? I do recommend it. I believe I rated this. I'm gonna have to pull this up because this was a little bit ago. I've been low-key thinking about writing my star ratings in the book because I feel like that makes it easier, but I do have this one. I rated a 5-star. This book was really, really good. It gives like it's enemies to lovers. It was the first book that I've ever read, and only book honestly, where the female main character is Latina, so that was really fun to read in a book. I've never read another book with anybody like that in a book, so that was really cool too to read in it, and I would recommend to you for you to read this. Number 11 is Love in Your Other Words by Christina Lauren. This book is way more popular than this book by them, and them, because a lot of people don't know that Christina Lauren are two different people. Christina is Christina Hobbs and Lauren is Lauren Billings. So it's two best friends who co-write books. But yeah, this book is their most popular book, I would say personally. And I rated this one a 4.5 stars. I just feel like it's a little bit overhyped. Just a little bit. I would recommend to read it. It was a very beautiful book. I just feel like it's a little bit overhyped. So I went into it thinking it was going to be like this big, massive book. And I feel like it was an okay book. Does that make sense? Like, it was a good book, but it wasn't a wow book. It is giving like childhood lovers into adult lovers in a sense, but like there's also like there's a plot twist in here on like why they hadn't talked for many years, and that's like the plot twist. You learn about it in the book, like with the characters. But like, I don't know, I just felt like the plot twist wasn't that crazy. I don't know, my opinion, okay, my opinion. Anyways, it was a 4.75. I do recommend it. Number 12 is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This book, I'm gonna say I don't recommend it, and I know that sounds so sad. I know, okay, I know. I think I rated this book a 3.75. It was not my favorite book. Honestly, it kind of put me in a reading slump there for a minute. It was really, really sad. And it's crazy because I even cried in this book. Like, there's a moment in here where I cried, but I just still feel like there wasn't, it did put me in a reading slump. That was like a big reason for my rating. And also like the concept was just a little bit strange to me, even though all of Ashley Poston's books are a little bit strange, but her other ones I loved them, and this one was just a little bit too out there. I almost feel like it was because like this is her first book she's ever written, so like, you know, authors get better with time. But I just would say I don't recommend it. It was just too strange of a concept. Like, it's literally about her falling in love with a ghost, but I mean the plot twist then gives it something, but like still, I feel like I don't recommend. I feel like I recommend her other books way more. Number 13 is A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. This I rated a 5 stars. This was so good. This is her latest book out actually, and it was so good. This is, like I said, all of her themes are a little bit whimsical, a little bit out there, but this one was a good one. This one I was like, that's cool. Like, it's literally about the female main character going into the town of her favorite book. And then it just takes a little twirl and da-da-da-da, but it was so good. This one I highly recommend. And I feel like it was a good balance of like real life stuff and whimsical, if that makes sense. Like this one was a really, really good. I would recommend this. Number 14 is The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is her most popular book. I feel like everybody knows about this book. Everybody's seen this book. This book I rated also a 5 stars. This one was really, really good too. Again, the whimsical theme and everything like that, but again, I feel like it was the good mix of real life problems with the whimsical. I really, really, really liked this, and I loved the female main character and the male main character, so this was a really good one. I do recommend. This is 15, 16, and 17. This is all one series, so that's why I'm talking about them all in one. This is My Fault, Your Fault, Our Fault by Mercedes Ron. This series, when I tell you, this was so good. This is so good. Highly recommend. Highly. Capital highly. The concept of them is a little strange. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not one to lie, okay? The concept is a little strange, but I'm here for the story. I'm not here for the concept. Does that make sense? So the first book is My Fault, and I rated that one a 4.75 because I couldn't get over the fact. So the female main character and the main male character are step siblings. But, before you come at me, before you're like, you like that? I don't like that. I don't like that. But in their defense, they just meet. Another thing that I can't defend them on is that the main male character is 21 in the first book and the female main character is 17. Do I approve of that? No, okay, I don't, but it's a book. Okay, like you just have, like you just kind of, and then you like, you know, that's sounding so bad. I understand, but okay, in their defense, they meet when they're older, you know, so like their first time meeting, it's not like, oh, this is a brotherly figure to me. This is like, this is a stranger turn romance. So the concept is a little strange. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know, okay, I know. So that's why I rated the first one at 4.75 because I was just like, I can't get over it just a little bit. The other two though, 5 stars. The other two were so good. Your Fault literally broke me so bad. Like I finished Your Fault, closed it, and had to open Our Fault because I needed to know. I needed to know what the heck was going on. And Our Fault did not disappoint. It was another 5 stars. Highly, highly recommend. I don't fully recommend the movies. The movies are actually ass. I'm so sorry. And I love Nicole Wallace. I have a newfound obsession with Nicole Wallace, which plays the female main character in the movies. The books are just so much better. There's so much more in them and make more sense for the characters. Like the way that they're portraying the characters in the movies, I just don't understand. That could be a whole other topic. These though, highly recommend. Please go read them and then let me know. Number 18 is Bridesmaid for Hire by Megan Quinn. I believe I ranked this a 4.5. Some of these might be different rankings from when I ranked them, but I'm going off of my memory also because I feel like also when a book sticks with you, it could change just a little bit. This book was very good. I do really like the couple, but I'm gonna say a maybe on recommendation because it is very raunchy, and don't get me wrong, I could do raunchy, I could do spice, but I just feel like this was a little bit like there's a line of raunchy and there's a line of like, was that necessary? Like there was just a couple times that I was like, was that needed? Was it needed in that actually? So like I feel like that's why I want to say maybe. So if you don't like spice and you don't really love that, don't recommend it. But also if you do like that and if you do like that, then I mean it's a good romance. I did like it. I rated it a 4.5, so I did like it. Just take with that as you will, and that's why it's a maybe. Number 19 is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. This book I rated a 5 star. This is actually the last book I read in 2024, and it was so good. I highly, highly recommend. This is giving a mix of like Knives Out meets like a romance in the same sense, because it's not, the romance in it isn't like the main plot of the story, but it is like a side plot. Like they're right there, and it is so good. Highly recommend. Number 20 is Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice by Katie Coots. Did I say that right? Probably not. Probably not. But with this one, I'm gonna say I don't recommend it. I rated this like a 3, like a 2.75. I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? It was good, but like not what I thought was gonna happen. And it's giving very children's book. If that, like, your middle schooler could read this, okay? If you want middle school books for your middle schoolers with 0 spice, like the most they do in this is brush a shoulder. Not even a kiss. Not even a, nothing. A brush of a shoulder is all we got in this. It just, it didn't wow me. Like the story itself, it didn't wow me. The romance in it, there wasn't any really. I mean, there was, but there wasn't. Like, again, if you have a middle schooler who likes to read and wants a little romance, this is it, but it's not really romance. So it's like very safe for them to read. It just was a little boring. So I'm gonna say for the adults, no. For a middle schooler, yes. Number 21 and number 22 are from the Dream House series by Lori Gilmore. Both of these I feel like have been getting a little bit of hate on social media, and I mean, I understand it. I do. The first one being the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the second one being the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. Do I understand where the hate is coming from? Yes, because neither one of these are like, oh my goodness, world-breaking books. They're not. I rated both of them a 4. They're not world-breaking, but the best way that I can describe these are when you watch like a cheesy Hallmark movie and you're like, that was good. Would you watch it again? Probably not. Would you super remember everything about it? Probably not. Is it gonna leave something in your brain? Probably not. But it was good for that time being. This is how I'm describing these. They were good. The stories were cute. I loved both of the couples in them. I rooted for them. But also, am I gonna remember these in 10 years? Probably not. But it was a good read for the moment and really good like seasonal reads. Like they fit in for the vibes, you know? They fit for the vibe. So I still rank them both 4s. I feel like I've been hearing people call them the worst books ever. I don't think they're the worst books ever. They're just not the most world-breaking books ever. 23 is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. This book I rated a 4.75, I believe. It was a very good book. I didn't guess any of the twists and turns in this. It was very good. It kept me very entertained. I just feel like I rated it a 4.75 because I feel like the plot twist in this, I almost should have guessed it. Like, it was obvious in a sense by the way that I'm realizing she writes. So I feel like I should have guessed it, but I didn't. So I mean, it was very good and it was a very entertaining book, and I read it in like a day and a half. Frida's very upbeat and very fast, so they're very good books to read. Number 24 is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. This is the second book I've ever read in this journey and everything, and I rated this a 5 stars. The Housemaid, I didn't guess one single thing, and again, like I'm saying, I didn't guess anything in this, but off of this book I should have guessed the plot twist in this one. I didn't, which is a good thing, you know? It's a good thing with reading. But with this one, I literally, like, my jaw was like, I was reading it like, what the fuck is actually going on? So good though. I highly recommend it, especially if you've never read any Frida. Like, this is like the perfect first book. Number 25 is You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. I rated this a 3.75, and I'm gonna say I don't recommend it because the ending, like the plot twist itself, I didn't guess the plot twist, so that's why I gave it a 3.75. But like, the plot twist is actually stupid. It was actually dumb. Like, I didn't really like the book, honestly. This is a book club pick that I actually picked, but obviously I've never read it when I picked it, but not good. I don't recommend it. None of the girls in my book club liked it. I really don't recommend. I would say don't read this. Number 26, 27, and 28 are from the Archer's Voice series. So the first one being Archer's Voice, which I ranked a 5 stars. So good. Literally could not recommend any single more. And I've not heard much hate, but I mean, like, my best friend Kayla doesn't like it, so, you know. But that's like the only person that I've heard that didn't like it, so, you know. I super enjoyed this though, so highly recommend. Then the next one being Travis. This one I've ranked a 4.75. I just feel like it didn't give the exact feeling as Archer's voice, but it was still so good. Everything in this, the things that they went through, everything in this, so good. And then the last one being Falling for Gage. I also ranked this a 4.75 because again, I don't feel like it was on that same level as Archer's voice, but still so good. I loved the female main character, the main male character, literally so good. Then we have 29, 30, 31, 32. These are all from the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. The first one obviously being A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This one I ranked a 5. I didn't guess a single plot twist in this. I highly recommend it. After I read it, I realized that it's categorized as a YA thriller mystery, but I don't feel like this was very YA at all. Like, I feel like anybody could have read this and it would have been so good. So I don't feel like that at all. Like, I didn't even know that that was how it was categorized, but highly recommend. The second one being Good Girl Bad Blood. This one I also ranked a 5. When I was going into the second one, I was like, how are they gonna, like, what is the series? Because I had bought them all together. I was like, what is the series gonna be? Because they wrapped up everything in the first book. Like, there's no clue needed. This is a separate, entirely separate case that she's doing, and this one was crazy. I mean, this one was crazy, didn't guess a single thing, but this one was insane also, and like the ending crazy, super good. I recommend all of these if you can't tell. The third one being As Good as Dead. This one I ranked a 4.75. I feel like I love Pip, which is the female main character in all of these. I love her. I just feel like in this one, and I understand from what she went through, I totally understand. But also, like, I didn't love it for her, you know? I didn't love everything that happened in this for her, but I also understood it with everything from the story, you know? So that's why, but it, I mean, it was still so good. And the ending, I think I sobbed a little. And then the last one being Killjoy. Killjoy is actually a prequel, so it actually takes place before A Good Girl to Murder, but it was released after the books. So this is actually a prequel, so you don't, in the first book, she's solving a murder. She doesn't know that she's solving that murder in this book. This is just a fun little novella. It literally took me 30 minutes to read it because it's, I think, like 50 pages. Oh, it's 117 pages, but it literally took me like 30 to 45 minutes to read this. It was such a quick little breeze. It's actually just like about a dinner party that they had, and it's like a murder mystery dinner party. So you're literally just doing that, and it was so cute to me to read this. I feel like I can't rank it a 5-star because it was literally so little, but it gave 5-star. Like, it literally was so good because it showed the beginning of Pimp Sterney, and then you just, like, since you love her already, you're like, there goes my Pip. Like, that's my Pip. So I do highly recommend, especially if you've read the other ones. I feel like a lot of people don't know about Killjoy, but they know about the other ones, so highly recommend. Number 33 is Beach Read by Emily Henry. We're going into all of the Emily Henrys now. This one I'm gonna say a maybe because I didn't love it. This is actually my least favorite Emily Henry book I've ever read, and it was the first one that I've read because it's her first book. So I just feel like this book is really overhyped on TikTok, and for me, it didn't resonate with me. Just a me thing, okay? It could resonate with you. It could be your favorite. It's just not my favorite. I just feel like, yes, I loved the couple and I was rooting for them, but I was like, can we get somewhere? Can we do something? Like, please. Number 34 is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This book, I love this book. This is a 5-star read for me. It was the second book, obviously, by Emily Henry that I've ever read, and this one did it for me. This one did it for me, and I'm so excited for the book. Highly recommend. It's Friends to Lovers. This one did it. And all of her books are standalone, so you don't have to read, like, you don't have to read Beach Read to read this one. There are like a little couple pop-ins of Easter eggs, but honestly, you don't need to read them all together. 34 was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This one I ranked at 4.5 because I did love the couple. Like, the couple in this are so meant to be for each other, but also, like, they were both given just a little grumpy and, like, you know, so it wasn't like my favorite book of all time, but like the couple in it, super cute, literally match made in heaven. So for that, it was a really good book, and overall I very enjoyed the book. it just wasn't like a top hitter for me. 35 is actually my favorite Emily Henry's book. It is Happy Place by Emily Henry. This book was so good. I rated this a 5, if you can't tell. This book literally took me on a journey. I feel like I related to the female main character. Also, I think like the best way that I can describe on why this is such my favorite in everything is because the main male character, like Emily had me hating him in like the first half and then had me loving him in the second half. And if you're an author and you can do that to me, you deserve it, you know? And like this is the number one for the Emily Henrys. Like this is it. I'll probably do a ranking Emily Henrys, even though you guys can probably tell. I'll probably do a video of that on TikTok. Number 36 is Funny Story by Emily Henry. Look, this one was so good. The storyline in this like was very unique in it. If you don't know, they are roommates who need to be roommates because her fiance and his girlfriend, who are best friends, hook up, get together, dump both of them, so they end up being roommates because they're dumped in a day and need to find a place to live, so they live together. And then it gets taken on from there, and I love him. I love Miles in this. But yeah, this is a very good one. I think I messed up the count there for a second because I'm counting these books. So this is number 38. So if I messed up the count there, I'm sorry, okay? I'm trying. Do you know how many times I've had to count again? I'll put up the number on the screen, and if it doesn't match, I apologize. Number 38 is All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. We're going into all of Colleen Hoover's that I've read, and this book I rated a 5. Like, Graham was my #1 book boyfriend for a long time, and let me tell you, it is crazy, this story. She touches a lot of topics in this book. It was so good. I rated this a 5. I almost want to reread it because I do remember everything in it, and I remember the parts that I'm like, that was great, like that was it, but I feel like I want to re-experience it, so maybe I'll read it again. But this book was so good. 5 stars. Number 39 is It Ends With Us, and number 40 is It Starts With Us. These books were so good to me. I ranked them both a 5. I loved both of these. The topics that are discussed in this is crazy. This book gets a lot of hate for it. I don't know why, because I feel like it's like the perfect book. Like sometimes when I finish a book, I'm like what are they doing now? Like, we know that they live happily ever after, but like what happened, you know? And this is like the perfect book of just like closing the chapter. You know everything about them, you love them. Love Atlas. Literally could not recommend anymore. Number 41 is Ugly Love by her. This book I also rated a 5. This was so good. When I learned the plot, like the plot twist in it, when I realized like what had happened and why Miles in this, and I know I just talked about a Miles in a different one, different Miles. When Miles in this, when I found out what happened to him, I literally sobbed. And then I was like, I was judging you so hard in the beginning of this, and like, you didn't deserve that. You really didn't. And was there toxicness? Yes. Okay, it's called Ugly Love. There's a lot of toxicness. So maybe Miles deserved it a little bit, but for what he went through was actually insane. And I loved them in the end. I love them. Number 42 is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This one I rated a 4.5. It was a very good book, and the topics in this are crazy, actually crazy. Synopsis on this one, because I'm saying crazy, so I feel like the ones that I'm saying crazy, I have to kind of give you a little bit. Crazy in the sense of she just got out of jail for killing her boyfriend from a hit and run. And she gave birth in prison, but her child got taken away from her. And now she's trying to like rebuild her life and trying to gain a relationship with her child. And yes, is it a crazy concept, and was it good? It was very good. There was just a couple things in here that I feel like I didn't agree with, and I was like, there's absolutely no way that's why it made me do a 4.5, you know? But I mean, I still highly recommend the book itself. It was still very good. I just feel like, again, there were some things that I don't agree with, but it was still a great book. 43, I didn't plan it to be like this actually, which is funny because I really didn't plan it to be like this, but it just so happened to work out like this, and that I love that. Love. Number 43 is actually the first book that I read in 2024, but in general pretty much, and that sparked this reading journey. Like, if there wasn't this book, there would be none of this. None of this would be happening if it wasn't for this book. And that is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I don't have my physical copy. I let my coworker borrow it so that she can read it. But when I tell you that this book was so good, it was so good. Like, I highly recommend. That book is like the most different from any of her other books that I've read, because that one's a little bit more thriller-esque. I do have Too Late to Read on my TBR for 2025, which I've heard is like the most similar in a sense to Verity. So I'm excited to read that because Verity was so good. The plot twist in that I did not guess at all. Rated it a 5-star, highly recommend. None of this would be here without Verity, so it's crazy that that's the last one I'm talking about. But yeah, I really recommend Verity. So good. Everybody that I've ever heard read it loves it, so I highly recommend it. But those are the 43 books that I read in 2023. I'm so excited to see what books I'm gonna read in 2025. I think it's insane how much I read in 2024. I think it's crazy that this is like such a big hobby for me, and I love it, and I can't wait for 2025. My goal for 2025 is to read 75 books, so let's giddy up for that. And I also want to do more TikToks on books, but also on here I want to do way more YouTube videos on books. And like, there's book YouTubers that I watch that I want to like take those ideas and bring those onto here for you guys, because literally I love reading. It's insane, but I love it so much, and I can't wait to see what we read in 2025. Leave your guys' favorite read of 2024 in the comment section down below. But I will see you guys next Sunday, and I love you guys so much.